Hello. Right, the customer has asked me to put this radiator, which hopefully you can see behind me here, it's a heated towel rail, onto this wall, which we've already tiled. Now, under normal circumstances, not a problem, but I thought it was an opportunity to make a video to cover a subject that we've not looked at yet. The reason why is because these tiles are porcelain. Now, porcelain's become a lot more popular, a lot more fashionable over recent years, and more people are having the porcelain finished tile rather than the ceramic. The main difference to the user is probably just aesthetically. That's why they'll be choosing them. They're a lovely looking tile, and what I'll do is when I finish this bathroom, actually, if you keep an eye on the channel, I'll post some pictures and a video of the finished bathroom. But for the porcelain effect, whilst it does look very nice, they are as tough as tanks. Far be it from a ceramic. Now, ceramic, you may have seen from one of my previous videos, you would just use what we'd call a ceramic tile bit or a glass bit to drill a hole into the tile, and it would go through really like a knife through butter. These things are very different. Okay, if you just try and use a normal drill bit, I've got a couple here. This is a normal masonry drill bit. If you just try and use this, then what's going to happen is it's going to skip off. Firstly, you're not going to get any grip on it. It's barely going to make a dent. I can't stress highly enough how tough these tiles are, okay? And number two, you're probably going to have such poor traction with it that you're going to put it onto hammer action, the drill, and that's one thing you must never do when drilling a tile, is put your drill onto hammer action. So this is no good, discard this. The other thing that's no good, as I just suggested, do you remember these? We used them in a previous video. It's just, can you just see, maybe I'll get a little close up on that later on, just edit it in the video. Lovely for cutting glass, for cutting ceramic tile. It's not a problem, particularly with a ceramic tile, because it just has to go through the glaze and then it cuts through the remainder of the tile very easily. These aren't going to work. Whilst this may well make a dent in your porcelain, you'll find it breaks very quickly. So the answer is one of these. It's a diamond tipped and it's a wax coated drill bit, and it's purposely made for drilling into porcelain. Now, when you drill with these other drill bits that I mentioned earlier, they get very hot. You have to constantly cool them down with water. It's quite a long drawn out process, and I'm guessing if you're watching this video, then you don't really know what to do, so you just want a quick and easy fix to perhaps hang something in your bathroom. And obviously the best solution is when your bathroom fitter's in to ask him or her to do it, but I'm guessing if you're watching this video, they've long gone and you just want to drill something into the wall. What I would suggest is before you go drilling anything into the wall, please ensure that there's no pipes or cables inside of it. I know what I'm doing here because we fitted the wall. I also know that the fixings behind for the radiator here are very good. So once I get through, I know I'm going to be able to hang that radiator in there, which is a hefty old weight. But as I was saying, going back to these drill bits here, they are coated in wax, so it keeps them cool. But they're not cheap. These things are not cheap at all. I think this one here was £20, $25, and you don't get many holes out of them, I've got to say. I've got 4 holes to drill here to hang this radiator up. And I mean, I'll be lucky if I get all 4 holes out of this. The first one will go through very quickly, very smoothly. The next one a little bit less, the next one a little bit less, and then the last one's going to be really struggling to get through. It's one of the biggest, not issues, but it's one of the biggest conversations I have to have with customers who have a room full of porcelain, which this is that if you're going to hang a lot of things in there, it's going to cost you quite a lot in drill bits. But there's no point in trying to do it cheap. There's no point in trying to use one of those other bits that I suggested, particularly not the masonry bit. It's a false economy, and you may well end up doing some damage to the lovely bathroom that you're trying to create anyway. So use the right tool for the job and just do it and just follow my instructions, which I'm going to show you now. Just a couple of obvious bits before we proceed. Make sure that your battery's charged up. You don't want to be running out afterwards. Make sure your drill is not on hammer action. That's hammer action. You don't want to be on it. And obviously make sure that your chuck is tightened correctly. These do have a hexagonal end as well, which just allows it to bite. Now you can see just here on the end of my finger, that's the mark, that's the hole I've got to go into. Now you can buy guides for these, but there's a very, very simple way of doing it. And that's just to tilt your drill up like so to make the initial hole. Now I'm actually going to film this in real time, so please feel free to fast forward it if you need to, but it's also good for you to get an idea of how quickly the drill goes in and goes through. Right, here we go. And we are through. Job done. That's very, very hot at the moment. Put it down somewhere safe. Don't touch it. Okay, that's the first hole done. One done, 3 more to go. I'm going to go and do the rest now. I'll speed it up a little bit so as not to torture you, to make you watch the whole lot in real time. The pipes are already in the wall. We did that beforehand, so we know when I present the radiator up, the pipes are going to fit. Obviously the water's off, but that's a completely different video. Please do not be starting to cut pipes without seeking professional advice. Right, let's get to it. Well, hopefully this video's been of some use to you. I'm not here to promote any particular brands. I think they're all much for muchness. It's probably cost, as I say, about £20 to put that radiator up. The drill bit's not really good for anything anymore. This is the one I used here. Use them or don't use them. But if you just are looking in your local hardware store, in the UK we've got something called Screwfix Tool Station. If you just look for porcelain drill bit, then you're going to find something that looks similar to the picture that I showed you earlier. Just remember, keep it off hammer action, and just always make sure there's no pipe work in the way or anything like that, and you should be absolutely fine to hang whatever you need to in your bathroom. One other little thing that I would suggest, because we've got to crack on, we've got to get this radiator on the wall now, and we've got to get this bathroom finished for the customer, but one thing that I would suggest is, for instance, we're doing this this shower area here. If you are going to put little baskets or things in the corners, which I'm not a great fan of because they do tend to rust, they do tend to go old. If you're going to buy one, you might as well buy 2 or 3, because if what you're going to have to do is drill 2 holes into your porcelain, we know it's hard, it's not an easy thing to do, we know it's expensive. If in 2 years your old basket rusts and you want to replace it, if you go and get another one, it's likely to be discontinued, it's likely to be from another manufacturer, and it's unlikely to marry up with the existing holes. So if you've already got one in the loft or in the garage which you're keeping as spare, you just take the old one off, put the new one on, and the fixings and the hole spacings remain exactly the same. Hopefully this has been of interest to you. There is a further video which I did just about how to secure things into the wall with the right plugs once you've drilled the holes. I'll put the link up here. It's very important if you watch the video that you do countersink any fixings into the wall a bit, otherwise the fixings expand and they can split the tile, although possibly not porcelain because they are very, very hard to break, as I've already explained. But please do check out the other video. If you want to look at fixings, there's a whole load of really good videos from other people on how to fix things into hollow walls and things like that, but please don't be fixing anything of that weight into a hollow wall without really doing your research first. And you know what? If you've had the wall off, you might as well put something substantial behind it like we've done, some timber, some additional stud work. So as we know, when those screws go through the tiles, they're into something very, very solid and very, very secure. Please let me know in the comments below any other videos you'd like to see done. Obviously I'm in bathrooms all day, every day, seems to spend my life in bathrooms. So if there's any tips that you would like to know or like to see any videos done, please do let me know in the comments below, and please do of course subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. Until next time, thanks for watching.